Broadcasting from the iHeartMedia studios in Syracuse, New York, this is Craft Brewed Radio with your hosts, Ronnie Miller and Eric Sleeper.
Welcome to episode 5 of Craft Brewed Radio. With me, as always, Mr. Eric Sleeper.
What's shaking, Ronnie Miller? How are you, sir?
Feeling very good on this beautiful, beautiful Monday evening. Lots to talk about, and as always, very excited in the craft beer world. There's always something going on. And, well, yeah, it's been a great week. Had a lot of great beers over this past weekend. I know you have been diving headfirst into the Belgian whores.
Absolutely.
Also,
face first in between the legs of every Belgian. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Oh, God, I'm so over IPAs. I was telling you this earlier.
That is shocking.
I'm over them. Don't care. No, I do like IPAs. Yeah.
Just shocked.
I know. But
I can't
I'm
believe
evolving.
that's
I'm evolving right now. I'm all about the Belgian goodness. But tell me about what you're drinking today, Ronnie Miller. I am drinking.
Yeah, what's your show beer?
I'll tell you first.
Okay.
Long Trail IPA. And I got to tell you, you brought this in, and I had my reservations. It is actually really nice. The aroma's super nice, super citrusy, easy drinker. I'm not mad at it.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Long Trail really, I mean, it's so funny. Some of their stuff is hit or miss for me. Their double bag, triple bag you can get at the brewery. But their indie IPA is fantastic.
It's not bad.
Their pale is a little dirty, but, Long Trail being from Vermont, you'd figure that it would just be a great place. The brewery itself is an awesome place. It's right next to like a stream, and they've got great food. And I will admit their brewery tour isn't as great. It's kind of your self-guided thing where it's like, stuff pointing to stuff and
So
saying
you walk
what
around
it
and
is.
look at a bunch of posters, and you're like, oh,
That's
cool.
what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, it's that's probably one of their better beers that I've had in a while. So
Yeah, not bad.
no, it's good. My show beer is very cool. One of my best friends, Eric, aka Panda Bear, brought it for me. It's a collaboration beer with Anchor Steam. It's called Brotherhood Steam, and it's just dry hopped steam beer, and stuff that they've done for years. And this is their second can beer, kind of like the artwork too, with a little gnome on there.
Very cool.
Now, Chris Robinson is from the Black Crowes, but he's also in this kind of like music experiment called Chris Robinson Brotherhood. That's what it's called. So they're serving this beer at his shows, and it actually got released back in December. And I've seen, and we've just got it here probably in the last couple weeks. 2 weeks, yeah. So yeah, it's not bad. It's actually very tasty. Smells very sweet. Actually smells a little sweet malt, almost like a toffee.
Yeah, I noticed I was getting a lot of sweetness out of it. And I would have picked up a single of it if I could, but it was in 6-packs only, I think.
Yeah, see now.
So
yeah, it's a nice sweet finish actually.
Yeah.
Actually, the finish is really nice.
it does have like a sweetness to it.
But not overly hoppy, just right on the money, tasty. So yeah, I definitely would get this again. Love the artwork though. I mean, that gnome holding the anchor is so cool.
Definitely a departure from some of the other Anchor Steam type stuff out there. So
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Nice collaboration.
Love it.
Well, what's hit? What do we do next? Oh,
Beer news.
Now it's time to check the temperature of the beer world, and we're sticking the thermometer in deep. It's time for beer news.
Oh, in beer news this week, we're only going to do one story this week, but it is fitting.
It's heavy.
Stone is revamping their Pale Ale, redoing it from Pale Ale, I guess 1.0 to Pale Ale 2.0.
Is that what really? Yeah.
That's essentially what they're doing. They're basically taking that traditional Stone Pale Ale, one of the first beers, the first beer they ever brewed. I'd always thought that their flagship beer was Arrogant Bastard, but I guess the Pale Ale was even before that, and this is what they initially started selling back in the mid-90s, and they have kind of done something pretty cool here in recognizing that maybe the beer hasn't held up to the evolving palates of craft beer drinkers in the course of the last 25, 30, or 20 years, I guess.
Wow.
So they're pulling Pale Ale off the shelves, and they're going to revamp the Pale Ale, and I'm sure they're not going to go light on the hops, being a Stone beer, but this is a little snippet from the website from what Stone said. It says, a year ago we challenged current Stone brewer Mitch Steele to come up with an updated version of Stone Pale Ale. We're not quite ready to spill the hops regarding the details. To be honest, we're still making some of the final tweaks to the recipe, but suffice it to say, it'll be something new and in keeping with the direction our brewery is headed. So, again, I'd imagine this is going to be, they're going to hop the living F out of this beer. That just kind of seems like what the direction that they always seem to go in. But kind of cool that there's some self-awareness at Stone saying, maybe this Pale Ale it doesn't mean as much now as it did 20 years ago. So I respect Stone for doing it, and I've had the Stone Pale Ale, and it's, by today's standards, it's like, it's not particularly...
It pales in comparison?
Oh, I see what you did there. God, you are so tricky, Ronnie Miller. No, but really, it's compared to some of the other pale ales out there, even like a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, it's been around forever. It doesn't quite hold up. It's just, it's not really, in my opinion, it's really not all that great of a beer. But that being said, I came into the game 15 years after the beer was first brewed, so I had a lot more to choose from and that kind of thing. So very cool that they're aware enough to recognize that one of their products maybe isn't keeping up with the times and make a change for the better.
That's very interesting. And, we did talk about Sublimely. Is that correct? Self-Righteous?
Mm-hmm.
Both of those getting pulled.
Levitation.
Oh, Levitation, excuse me.
And Sublimely.
Okay.
And now Pale Ale.
So they must be seeing some of the writing on the wall as far as sales are concerned. Now, I know Greg Cook is just a amazing, outspoken, well-spoken advocate for everything craft beer and local, and really, he's just an awesome guy. But needless to say, it makes me wonder, what is 2.0 going to be really looking like? And can another brewery have the balls to do something like it? I mean, it's a ballsy move. It's something
it
that
absolutely is. And you would totally understand if Stone said, you know what, this is our pale ale, this is a beer that helped us get to where we are today, and we're going to keep making it forever and ever and ever. But they're not doing that.
Yeah, they're kind of like, screw it. You know what? Well, the thing that was impressive, it was only a couple weeks ago, they released, last year, 2014, they made 120. They brewed 120 different beers.
Right.
And, I mean, you're everything from enjoy buys to...
They do a million collaborations,
Their collaboration stuff is great, though,
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm a huge Stone fan, and it's so hard to just keep up with what they're releasing. You look at all their seasonal releases, the Odd Years series that they're doing this year, all the collaborations that they do.
The Enjoy Afters now.
Last year they did a beer, Shokavesa, that was one of the best beers I've ever had. That was the result of a home brewer winning a competition that eventually turned into an actual Stone beer.
No kidding.
So they have a gigantic portfolio of beers to choose from. So very cool that they're kind of narrowing it in, probably looking at some sales figures and saying, all right, well, Pale Ale's not quite holding up to, the Ruinations and the IPAs and all the other kind of stuff that they do, and making a change.
It's surprising that they're not just continuing to brew it and maybe just scaling it back a little bit and kind of keeping the respect there as far as, people who love the Pale. But if you look at somebody like a Sierra Nevada, they've kept their regular Pale, what it is, but then they'll make a torpedo version, like, you know what I'm saying? So they'll change the original recipe, but add something to it, not necessarily take anything away. It makes you wonder if somebody like Sam Adams would even do something like that.
See, I feel like Sam Adams is at the point where they would just brew instead of brewing another revamped version of Boston Lager, they would just redo or make a brand new lager called, Philadelphia Lager.
I see what you're saying.
Something, and just do something slightly different.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to, because you do have to kind of turn inward and say, wow, this is beers X, Y, and Z are a big part of who we are. But I think, from Stone's perspective, a part of who they are is an ever-changing, ever-evolving brewery.
Yeah.
And they're going to reflect, their beers reflect the tastes of their customers at the time.
Yeah, that's
so,
good.
But there's a balance there for sure.
No, there is. And you know what I really like, too, is for instance, Southern Tier did their hop 12-pack. So, there's a beer brew with Centennial, beer brew with Columbus. Sam Adams actually did something similar with their Latitude 48. They actually broke down Latitude 48 and gave you each beer brewed with, I think it was Zeus and Simcoe. There was a couple other ones. Forgive me on the names of the hops, but definitely
Tettnang?
Not Tettnang.
Okay.
Son of a bitch. Phil Leinhart will haunt my dreams. But regardless, it was really nice because it's almost like a test kit, a taster kit. Like, hey, this is what these different hops taste like. It makes me wonder if somebody would ever do that in the future with malts, whether it be, dark malts or even mild malts, whatever. But it's something that, it trains your palate. It gives you an education. And I think that that's really important that, Sam Adams definitely recognizes that. Southern Tier definitely recognizes that. And obviously Stone, because they're revamping their classic recipe.
Looking forward to it coming out, hopefully 2015, if not sooner. So, well, it can't be any sooner than 2015. That's this year. But as soon as they churn it out, of course, we'll be on the hunt for that.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So,
let's hit up Beer Radar.
Beer Radar.
What is on your beer radar, young man?
Ronnie Miller. Well, in this Belgian world that I am living in now.
Love it.
I
You
do love it.
It's a big fan. It's a big fan of you, too.
Well, recently I discovered Unibroue. Unibroue? Unibroue?
Unibroue.
Caterpillar across your face? Unibroue?
French-Canadian.
Right. Well, anyways, Unibroue. Say it again.
Unibroue. And it's actually... Unibroue's owned by Sapporo, by the way.
Right, we saw that, yeah.
Just found that out today.
Which is interesting. Anyways, got into some of their beers this weekend, and oh my God, dude.
What was your jam?
Ridiculous.
What'd you do?
I got the Trois Pistoles.
Trois Pistoles!
It was
ridiculous. Three towers in French.
Yeah, and that was like a Belgian strong that was or quad, I guess. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was an Abbey.
And then I had the triple, which is, I don't know if I've had a better triple.
Wow.
I don't.
What was La Fin du Monde?
La Fin du Monde.
Right?
Oh, dude, I want that in me.
See,
daily.
Unibroue's got something really great going for them. A, their beers are fantastic.
Yeah.
2, their artwork is just so badass.
It's nice, yeah.
The Trois Pistoles, it's Pistole probably, but Trois Pistoles is these 3 horses coming with trotting down the sky with fire
badass.
out of their
it's
eyes.
badass. Yeah,
it's so awesome.
But anyways, going back to the beer radar thing,
right,
the beer that's on my radar is the Dieu. God. Dieu?
Yeah.
It is their 9%
Dieu,
ABV triple wheat ale. And the scary part about a lot of these Belgians I'm finding is, my God, man, like the triple, the Le Fin du Monde, that beer is like a 9-10% beer.
Wow.
And it is ridiculously drinkable.
Doesn't taste like it, right?
Ridiculously drinkable. So I am making it a point to try everything from this brewery as I possibly can without getting arrested.
They've got some stuff. They pretty much don't. They release a new beer, like an anniversary ale, usually once a year. And there's one called Terrible that is not terrible. It's fantastic. I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's a lot of great stuff that they are producing, and it just always tastes fantastic. And like I said, there's even something for the wife. There's a peach and an apple and a pear. It's called Epimere, and that's kind of a lighter side. I don't want to say a cider, but definitely on the lighter side of beer.
Right.
So you can definitely share that with your beautiful, beautiful wife.
What's on your beer radar, Ronnie Miller?
My beer radar, we're talking Southern Tier's Grand Arbor. I've seen it in stores. Always loved Southern Tier. Again, one of the breweries that just really, it's hard for me to find a bad beer that they make. But it's basically a Belgian-style ale that's brewed with maple syrup. And in New York State, we love our maple syrup here. What's very cool is they actually they brewed the beer, then they put maple syrup in that was basically drawn from right across their street, which is nice. So it's fresh and local and awesome. But what I'm very curious about is how it tastes. And a lot of people have been saying, either whether it's on Beer Advocate or Rate Beer, that it misses the mark. It's almost not sweet enough for them, knowing that it's brewed with maple syrup. So I'm very curious to try it. And they also kind of, if you notice the label on Grand Arbor, it's actually a bit of a departure from what they usually do with the huge font and kind of like an 80s kind of like huge picture or whatever from their normal designs. But Southern Tier's actually teamed up with Nate Duvall, who's a really great artist, for their first of many in a series for their label. So I'm very curious to see this different direction for Southern Tier. And again, I think I saw it in stores. It's probably about $10.99, so you're not dropping for a bomber.
Uh-huh.
So it's not, you're not wasting a whole bunch of money, but you definitely want to probably share it with somebody. We're talking about 8% ABV. But again, it's brewed with it's a Belgian style brewed with maple syrup. So
I bet the maple syrup is amazing with a Belgian.
That's the thing. I mean, we just had it was only a month and a half ago, or what we had CBS,
yeah,
Canadian breakfast stout.
And I'm trying to think of any other beer that I've had with maple. Oh, Dogfish 75-minute IPA.
Is that?
I think
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a maple syrup beer. But for me, I didn't get a ton of maple syrup out of that beer. But still, yeah, I like the idea of a type of sugary sweetness in a triple.
Yeah.
And I like spices. I like sweetness. I like a good balance in a triple. And that sounds like, or is this a triple? This is just a Belgian style ale.
Belgian style ale. It's more like a farmhouse
8%.
saison, that type of thing. It's technically a Belgian style. So,
yeah.
But again, it's definitely worth a try.
Definitely.
You want to have new brews?
New brews, bro.
What beers are new to you? Let's do New Brews.
Wow, man. Freaking Ronnie Miller. Let me tell you about my new brew this week. This is crazy.
Well, first of all, you have to kind of set out the picture. You went crazy this weekend.
A little bit.
You seriously must have dropped you dropped a ton of cash on a lot of, because you dropped it on
I know
Chillwave,
people.
you dropped it on Trois Pistoles, you dropped it on La Fin de Monde.
Those are pretty good bargains.
That's right. What else did you bought me the AleSmith IPA.
I did.
Thank you for that. Finally popped my cherry with AleSmith. It was fantastic.
It was.
And God, you posted a bunch of stuff on Untapped. What's your Untapped? How do people find you on Untapped, by the way?
It is Eric Sleeper.
Okay,
I
good.
think.
Yeah, mine's Ronnie Miller.
Yeah,
and you're gonna
it's
look
really
for
complicated.
You're gonna look for the Craft
Brewed
Radio
icon. Yeah,
logo.
you see me out on tap. Send me a request, and you can check out everything that I'm drinking, which is usually way too much on the weekends. But yeah,
Just
so I had a huge haul this weekend, man.
It was big, man.
Got
it was
a
big.
bunch of stuff,
Loved it.
bunch of stuff. But one of the things I was super, super stoked that Syracuse finally got was some beers from the Brewery out of Orange County in California.
The Brewery.
The Brewery, I had their White Oak, and this is one of the most unique beers I think I've ever had. It is half bourbon-aged golden barley wine and half Mischief, which is their Belgian golden strong ale, and they blend the two together, and you get the Brewery White Oak, this beer. This big, it's a wheat wine ale, technically. It pours it looks like a triple if you look at it from a distance with a nice white head, but you drink it, or if you smell it, it smells like almost like a dark barley wine.
Wow.
A lot of vanilla and coconut and sugary sweetness, and you drink it and you get a lot of those fruity type qualities, the coconut, the vanilla, but then it has like that kind of carbonated crisp finish to it. So it's like just this
like a dry
crazy
champagne at the end?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
It's like the most insane thing ever. I thought it was fantastic. I saw a couple other reviewers that were like, oh, it's kind of all over the place. But for me, it's just so different. It's not like anything else I've had. You know, you've had a few barley wines, and it's like, okay, you get a general idea.
Yeah.
And then maybe you have a few Belgians, and golden Belgians, you get an idea of what those taste like. This is like, you taste it, and it's not like anything you've ever had before.
Where were
Very
you tasting
cool.
the coconut and vanilla? Was it more towards as it warmed up, or was it kind of right off the front, like no problem? It was nice.
I was definitely getting like right in the middle of the mouth, man.
Wow.
Really good. Really, like, just, you would get it a little bit in the nose. You get it, and of course the nose followed the or the taste followed the nose in this case. But yeah, really, really, for my first brewery beer, very, 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 very impressed.
I hate to admit, I've never had anything from the Brewery. I mean, again, one of those things like AleSmith, had the opportunity, just never pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
So now that, definitely on my beer radar, huh?
Well, speaking of that, what about your new brew this week?
So excited. Finally, a dear friend of ours, a home brewer, Sean Place, actually ended up texting me. He goes, dude, talk to the guys at World of Beers over at Destiny USA here in Syracuse. And Christian, he always takes good care of us over there. Yeah, we can see him. Basically, he goes, dude, they've got a few kegs of Maine Beer Company. I go, dude, what are you talking about? Yeah. So it was Peeper, Mo, Red Wheelbarrow. There's another one.
Mean Old Tom.
Mean Old Tom. Another one, and lunch. They did not have dinner this time around. But I said, dude, like, you gotta get it done. But you were telling me about another one, and you're like, dude, you gotta have another one. Gotta have another one. And it was very interesting because Maine Beer Company's another one, and lunch and dinner they're all in the same family. They're all super clean IPAs. They're all very, very drinkable, all very intensely hopped, just really piney and citrusy on the nose. And they follow suit. I mean, they're all distinctly different because they are brewed with different malts and different hops.
Yeah, and I find that they're super balanced. Like, they don't really go overboard with the hops. They don't really crush you with being overly bitter or anything like that. I've always felt I had Maine Beer Company's another one last year, and I almost I didn't even realize what I had.
Wow.
At the time. Wow. I'm just like, okay, I've never tried this beer. I didn't hear a lot. There wasn't a lot of chatter about it on the internet at that point, at least from where I was looking. And wow, dude, I just remember it being just super balanced, super clean, and just mega. It had the wonderful, wonderful hop aromas and just that perfect balance of sweetness in the malt to make it just an unbelievable beer. If I could talk today, that would be great. By the way.
It's all right. Well, another one in Wheeze actually used the same hops but different malts, so that's very interesting. So again, another one and Wheeze used the same type of hops but different malts, and the result that obviously Wheeze uses much darker malts. And we're talking like Maris Otter, American Two-Row, Munich, chocolate, that type of thing. And the malt for another one is American Two-Row, red wheat, and Carapils, I think it's pronounced. But anyways,
Tetning?
Don't even go there. I'm trying to learn. Dude, I literally made flashcards learning the different names.
Wow.
You'd be so impressed.
You're so dedicated.
Well, now, it's Craft Brewed Radio, man. It's only the best.
Absolutely.
But definitely looking forward to having dinner. I think dinner is definitely going to be it's my white whale, man. I got to find out somebody who's going up there, getting into the beer trading. And, beer trading is so daunting because you see a lot of stuff, whether it be on Reddit, the subreddit beer or beer porn. How are people getting together? Oh my gosh, I almost said horny toppler. Hetty Topper.
Kibbis?
How are they getting together Hetty Topper? How are they getting together Pliny the Younger? How are they getting together Pliny the Elder? How are they getting all of these amazing lunch, dinner, the whole 9 yards from Maine Beer Company, whatever? Westbrook Mexican cake. How are they getting all this stuff in one location? It just boggles my mind. And, we're always after the search, but it can be very expensive.
It's expensive. It's daunting. And then I always think if you get into a beer tray, what in the hell am I going to be able to get my hands on?
Right.
That someone else would want.
Yeah.
And really, the answer is, short of driving to Vermont to go to, the Alchemist or someplace like that, or driving to Hill Farmstead, the accessibility to a lot of these, you got to put an awful lot of work into tracking down some of these beers.
Oh, for sure. And, a trip for us to Vermont is from Syracuse, New York, is roughly about 5 hours. Maybe 4.5 if you're speeding, but then you gotta catch it right. Where do you find Hetty Topper? Where do you find, obviously Hill Farmstead sells out pretty much every day they're open. So again, another beer adventure will await all of us. But again, number 5 in the books, man. Hopefully next week, we'll have to say, we've got a couple of irons in the fire.
We got a big interview coming up.
Well, you can tell them who we're working. You don't want to tell them?
No. I don't want to tell just on the rare chance that this person bails for whatever reason, even though I don't think they would. But yeah, big interview next week with someone that I'm super excited to talk to. Someone that I've had a fair share of beer of, but kind of hard to get a hold of to a certain extent. A little pricey, maybe. So here's your teaser.
Give me this hit.
It's a little expensive and it's a little hard to get to a certain extent. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That narrows it down to about 3 billion craft breweries. So.
Dude, as always, thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful adventure that is Craft Brewed Radio, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye. Bye.
You're listening to Craft Brewed Radio, an iHeart radio station. Check out what the guys who sip it on this week. Follow them on Twitter @Brewed Radio and on Facebook at facebook.com/craftbrewed radio.